The Young and the Restless scoop for the week of October 6th reveals Nikki Newman will attempt to end her feud with Jill Abbott. Also coming up, Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti will have news for Sharon Newman. Plus, Cain Ashby will confront Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson. Y&R spoilers tease Victor Newman will decide to go ahead with the media blitz smearing Cain's father. So, when it goes public, Cain will head straight to the source, Newman Media. But will Adam and Chelsea stand their ground? Speaking of Cain, his right-hand woman will do some damage control. Rumor has it, Phyllis Summers will find herself in a compromising position. However, will it have to do with Cain's AI scheme? Or will it be of a more personal nature? Meanwhile, Tessa and Daniel will return with Boston with an update for Sharon. She'll ask them how the trip went and if they found out anything about Mariah Copeland. "We did," Tessa will reply, and she won't look happy. But what did they learn? Other Y&R spoilers tease Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti will make a decision about their upcoming nuptials. Plus, Jill and Lily Winters will face off with Cain, and Jack Abbott will protect his family. Finally, longtime viewers know Nikki and Jill have been enemies for years. Most of their mutual dislike stems from Nikki's close friendship with Catherine Chancellor. So, when Jill shows up at Newman Ranch to speak to Victor, Nikki will want to set the record straight. "I'm glad that we have this time alone," she'll tell Jill, who will ask her why. "There's something I want to get off my chest," Nikki will reply. Frankly, it's long overdue. But will Jill agree to bury the hatchet with Nikki after all these years? Stay tuned. Hey Y&R fans, are you enjoying the new CBS Sudser Beyond the Gates? Then make sure you join our free Facebook group. Keep reading the soap scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video, The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, October 6th to October 17th, reveal that Cain Ashby's reputation will be ruined before Victor Newman delivers a reward. Noah Newman's new storyline will also begin, so let's discuss what's ahead on the CBS soap. During the week of October 6-10, Kyle Abbott will deliver some sinister threats to Audra Charles before deciding to go win Claire Newman back in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman will get a shock when Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr. come back with unsettling updates on what happened at Mariah Copeland's hotel. Next, Nick Newman will interrogate Phyllis Summers about her Cain partnership, while Nikki Newman tries to call a truce with Jill Abbott. As for Jack Abbott, he'll do whatever it takes to protect Jabot and his family legacy. Y&R fans will see Jack make a pitch to Jill, but he'll also speak with Cain himself to make a heartfelt plea. Over with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson, they'll follow Victor's orders and show their loyalty. That should mean hitting publish on the story about Colin Atkinson's final con, and how Cain built his empire on dirty money. Victor will be pleased with Chelsea and Adam's willingness to follow instructions, so a reward is headed their way. As for Nick, he'll make a rogue move while Jill and Lily Winters grill Cain about the scandalous article and his messy history. On another note, Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair will make a significant choice that'll affect their wedding day. Across town, someone will find Phyllis in a compromising situation. So could this involve committing a hacking crime for Cain, or perhaps steaming up his train with him instead? There are some hints and spoilers about Phyllis getting an unexpected love interest, so there's a chance Cain will have a passionate encounter with her soon. During the week of October 13th to 17th, fans will finally see some long-awaited Los Angeles drama. Sharon will arrive ahead of Nick, but he won't be far behind. Both Nick and Sharon will try to figure out the real reason Noah is seeking their help. There's more going on than just a potential new club branch in Los Angeles. We know that danger is brewing for Noah, who'll be part of a new story with Nick, Sharon, Roger Howarth's mystery character, Detective Burrow, and a Hollywood club owner named Sienna Bacall. Plus, Kyle will make his way to Los Angeles in hopes of winning Claire back. but she may lash out over him following her there. It's even possible Kyle will catch Claire and Holden Novak in a moment of passion, so more drama's brewing. That's especially true if Claire gets caught up in the dangerous situation Noah's about to land in. Whatever the case, Victoria Newman will pop up in LA as well, and may have some growing concerns about Claire's well-being. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring some unsettling moments, so don't miss all the awful news and unraveling mysteries. On The Young and the Restless, Audra Charles, played by the sensational Zuleika Silver, is a throwback to classic have-not characters who end up taking the world by storm. We've always got our eyes on this gifted relative newcomer, but now, the actress has now shown a new vulnerable side to her Genoa City alter ego, which has earned her Soap Central's Performer of the Week honors. Characters can fire any zinger that they want to at Audra, but Zuleika uses deft timing to scorch her opponents each and every time. She has a way of taking Kyle's barbs, chewing them up, and spitting them right back in the Abbott heir's face. When we saw Audra overhear yet another breakup fight between Kyle and Claire, we knew that the Vibranti developer was going to rub Kyle's face in his defeat. Kyle told Audra to keep walking when he saw her, but he wasn't getting off that easily. "You were so sure you and Claire would kiss and make up," Audra snarked at Kyle. "You wanted to screw up my life, but you were certain it wouldn't bite you in the ass." Kyle gave as good as he got, but Audra was relentless in her cunning rationale that she was in the right. "Victor wanted me to prove that you don't deserve Claire, that you would break her heart, and if this is all my fault, as you say, then Victor should give me the reward that he promised me," Audra theorized. "Could you put that in writing? Maybe even just a text. It was all Audra's fault." Silver's scenes with Mealer alone could have earned her our Performer of the Week honors. However, it was the vulnerability she displayed in Audra's episodes with Nate that truly caught our eye this week. At Sally's suggestion, Audra approached Nate and asked her ex for a second chance. They went to Chancellor Park, where Nate agreed to hear Audra out. Silver truly shined as Audra showed unseen levels of emotional rawness and vulnerability in these scenes. You'd have to made of stone not to have been moved by Audra's promise to Nate to do better as she begged him to move forward with her. "I know I've broke your trust," Audra confessed to Nate. "Being with you has shown me how things could be with a truly good man. Is there any way you could give me another chance?" Nate asked her if she thought she'd changed enough for him to want to try again. "I let myself hope that it might," Audra tearfully said. No snark, no witty comebacks. To paraphrase Julia Roberts in Notting Hill, she was just a woman standing in front of a man, asking him to love her. Alas, Nate couldn't get past Audra's duplicity. Audra's not a character that often elicits sympathy, but as she sat alone in the park, leaving a message for Sally on her phone, we wish that someone would have walked by and shown some kindness to the devastated woman. Is there no hope for Audra and Nate on The Young and the Restless? Unbeknownst to Audra, Nate rejoined Amy back at Society. She pointed out to him the fragility of life. Nate did not seem unmoved by Amy's words. Might he be open to giving Audra that second chance she so desperately wants? If she gets that chance, Audra may have more champions among viewers of The Young and the Restless than she would have had in the past. Why? Silver continues to win over viewers with her performances as she infuses her character with empathy, wit, strength, and an open heart. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Kyle Abbott may catch Claire Newman and Holden Novak in bed together. Will Kyle's LA mission bring horror and heartbreak? After Audra Charles pushes Kyle's buttons over Claire's time in Los Angeles with Holden, he'll make a significant decision. Kyle won't want to sit there and do nothing while Holden's off convincing Claire to be with him instead. It seems Kyle has learned nothing from all those times when he pressured Claire, and it backfired spectacularly. You'd think Kyle would see that it's the wrong strategy by now, but he continues to make bad choices when it comes to Claire. Although Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott may try to pump the brakes, Y&R spoilers say, Kyle's mind will be made up. The plan will be to fly to LA and do everything in his power to win Claire back. But Kyle could be in for a rude awakening. Claire is single now that she's officially broken things off with Kyle, so she's free to do whatever she wants with Holden. That includes hitting the sheets if Claire chooses to. Of course, Claire and Kyle's last argument really riled her up, so that could make her even more determined to figure out her own path. All Kyle's warnings about Holden could leave Claire with something to prove, so she might heat things up with Holden quickly. It's easy to imagine Kyle figuring out Claire's hotel and room number once he makes it to Los Angeles. Kyle might show up at Claire's door and find her scantily clad with Holden. Making it obvious that she's been in bed with him, Holden could answer the door shirtless, thinking it's room service while Claire's nearby in lingerie or something along those lines. Then again, Kyle might manage to score a keycard and plan on setting up a romantic surprise for Claire in her room. In that case, Kyle could end up getting surprised instead if Claire's already in there doing the deed with Holden. Regardless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle's trip could come with some stunning news, so stick with us for updates on all the drama. Here are your spoilers for The Young and the Restless for the week of October 6th to Friday, October 10th, 2025. Be sure to tune in to CBS every day to see how things play out in Genoa City. Victor plots his takedown of an opponent. Kyle and Audra's war approaches the point of no return. Jack hides a trick up his sleeve. Nikki settles unfinished business with Jill. Tessa worries about Mariah's safety. Nick questions Phyllis's alliance with Cain. Victor shares shocking news with Jill. Nikki searches for answers. Jack presses Cain to make the right decision. Jack protects his family's interests. Nick goes rogue. The Young and the Restless scoop for Monday, October 6th reveals Kyle Abbott will make a big decision after a confrontation with Audra Charles. Also coming up, Diane Jenkins will tell Jack Abbott they're being too tough on their son. Plus, Victor Newman will discuss his next steps with Victoria Newman, and Nick Newman will have bad news for Sharon Newman. Y&R spoilers tease. Nick will tell Sharon he might not make their flight to LA because Victor has summoned him to the ranch. Sharon will say she thinks there's more to the nightclub story than Noah Newman is letting on. Of course, Sharon will admit she's even more concerned about Mariah Copeland. She'll tell Nick her daughter checked into a facility in Boston. Then she'll be worried that if Nick misses the flight, he might not come to LA at all. Meanwhile, Victor and Victoria will have another boring conversation about Cain Ashby. Victor will say he plans to use the information he learned about Colin Atkinson against Cain across all of Newman's platforms. Nick will arrive, and Victor will say they're about to embark on an all-out war with Cain. He'll tell Nick he's using Jack in a pseudo-alliance for a plan that benefits only them. Victoria will say her mom won't be happy about him hurting Jack, and Nick will ask why he would want to provoke Cain. Victor will say Cain needs to find out his threats are serious. At the park, Kyle will offer to fly Audra anywhere in the world on his family's private jet, as long as it's a one-way, but Audra will say she pays her own way. If and when I decide to leave Genoa City, it'll be on my terms. Kyle will tell her if she knows what's good for her, she'll make herself disappear before someone else does. But she'll start laughing and tell him he's a joke. Your girlfriend just flew off to LA with another man. Audra will point out Claire Newman and Holden Novak are currently sipping Vespers. You're a cliché, Kyle, so if anyone should go to a new town to make a new life, it's you. Kyle will say she needs to own up to her own mistakes. You just wanted me so badly and you hated yourself for it, she'll reply. Someone so beneath you, just admit it. Audra will tell Kyle they both know how close he was to taking things beyond that kiss in Nice. You will always find women like me more alluring and attractive than Summer and Claire, she'll add. That's why both of those relationships failed. When are you going to accept the kind of man you really are? At Jabot, Jack will tell Diane that Jill Abbott is back in town, but her first stop was to visit Cain on his choo-choo train. The fact that I haven't heard from her is disconcerting, Jack will admit. However, he'll say Jill loved his father. Hell, her name is still Abbott, he'll add. I cannot believe she is going to allow that man to sink Jabot or Chancellor. Talk will turn to Kyle, and Jack will say the situation he's in is of his own making. Now he's got to figure out how to fix things. He'll add that Kyle needs to learn a lesson from this. But Jack, don't you see? Diane will ask. Maybe by being tough we're making it worse. She'll worry he'll take out his anger on Audra and Holden. Finally, Kyle will walk in and tell his parents he found his balance again. Jack will say they hope he's not going to let his anger get the better of him. "We just want you to be careful," Jack will tell his son. He'll add any choice he makes right now will be based on instinct rather than rational thought. Kyle will say he plans to follow his gut and has made a decision. "I'm going to Los Angeles," he'll tell Jack and Diane. "And when I get there, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win Claire back." But is Kyle going to regret this? Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at CBS.com. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that a divorce threat shocker could rattle Michael Baldwin. Is Michael really willing to lose Lauren Fenmore Baldwin over his loyalty to Victor Newman? Lauren was already pushed to her breaking point the last time Michael got caught up in Victor's games. Michael finally retired and walked away from all the danger, but it came at a great personal cost since it ruined his relationship with Victor. Now Michael's fighting to restore that bond and protect the people of Genoa City from Cain Ashby in the process. Michael hit a snag since Cain fired him and derailed his infiltration plot, but it's obvious that his loyalty to Victor runs deep. Lauren walked out on Michael in the October 1st episode, so that says a lot about how fed up she is over all this shady news. It's like there are 3 people in this marriage, as far as Lauren's concerned, since Michael always goes back to Victor in the end. Lauren isn't sure how much more of this she can take, so she may deliver a divorce threat sooner or later. Y&R fans might see Lauren spell it out for Michael and insist that they can't go on like this. Of course, we'd argue that Y&R's having Lauren overreact a bit for drama's sake, but it's clear that she means business. Lauren doesn't know what else she can say or do to stress just how important this is to her. If Michael isn't willing to put Lauren first, what does that say about their marriage? Lauren will find herself wondering that, so she may deliver a divorce threat shocker to Michael in the coming episodes. Perhaps Lauren will give Michael an ultimatum and warn that their marriage won't survive if he doesn't truly cut ties with Victor for good. Michael might be willing to surrender to Lauren's wishes eventually, but there's also a chance she'll realize she can't give Michael up, no matter how angry she might be with him. At some point, Lauren may have to accept this is just who Michael is. Nikki Newman doesn't approve of Victor's actions either, but she just can't quit him and has given up trying at this stage of her life. Should Lauren be the one to back down? Or should Michael back down instead? Will Michael and Lauren be able to avoid a divorce, despite her extreme frustration? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Lauren and Michael will have a lot to figure out, so stick with us for updates on their continued marital turmoil. In Genoa City, the Newman name casts a long shadow, and every decision is viewed through a prism of power. This week, the spotlight falls on Phyllis Summers, whose talent for self-preservation is legendary. Her sharp instincts and last-minute saves have pulled her from the fire countless times, but her latest gamble feels different and far more dangerous. Nick Newman's concern is no longer the blind jealousy of a former lover, but the sharp intuition of a man who knows betrayal intimately. He's noticed the subtle signs, unusual money transfers, and cryptic appointments hidden within seemingly innocent calls. Choosing discretion over confrontation, Nick has hired a private investigator whose findings paint a chilling picture. The cold chain of data, photos, transaction records, and timelines reveals a clandestine alliance between Phyllis and the notorious Cain Ashby. Their secret meetings in quiet, out-of-the-way bars and complex financial maneuvers through intermediaries point not to a casual partnership, but to a structured, high-stakes operation. What alarms Nick isn't just that Phyllis is working with Cain, a man whose reputation precedes him, but the methodical way she conceals it. When Nick finally confronts her with the evidence, laying out the facts in a logical chain, he hopes transparency will force her to retreat from the brink. But Phyllis, true to form, deflects. She frames it as taking control of her life, insisting Cain is merely a temporary, calculated risk. However, Cain's reckless behavior is sending shockwaves beyond Phyllis. His erratic dealings have caught the attention of 2 of the city's most powerful matriarchs, Nikki Newman and Jill Abbott. In a stunning move, Nikki arranges a private meeting with Jill at the Newman Ranch. This isn't about settling old scores. It's a strategic summit born of mutual necessity. Nikki proposes an unprecedented truce, suggesting they form a united front to contain the Cain problem before his actions destabilize their families and businesses. Nikki's offer is surprisingly detailed: a safe corridor to monitor and limit Cain's access to their companies, preventing him from exploiting institutional loopholes. It's a firewall designed not to destroy Cain, but to manage the fallout from his impulsiveness. Skeptical but pragmatic, Jill listens. She still holds out hope for Cain, but her business acumen tells her that hope is not a strategy. She agrees to Nikki's terms, recognizing the proposal as a necessary evil to protect the larger ecosystem. We are now watching two storms converge. On one path, Phyllis barrels ahead with Cain, convinced she can outsmart the risks, while pushing away Nick's warnings. On the other, an unlikely alliance between Nikki and Jill is building a defensive wall that could inadvertently bring Phyllis's entire scheme crashing down. Michael might be willing to surrender to Lauren's wishes eventually, but there's also a chance she'll realize she can't give Michael up, no matter how angry she might be with him. At some point, Lauren may have to accept this is just who Michael is. Nikki Newman doesn't approve of Victor's actions either, but she just can't quit him and has given up trying at this stage of her life. Should Lauren be the one to back down, or should Michael back down instead? Will Michael and Lauren be able to avoid a divorce despite her extreme frustration? The Young and the Restless, spoilers say, Lauren and Michael will have a lot to figure out, so stick with us for updates on their continued marital turmoil. The invitations are sent, the flowers are arranged, and Genoa City is preparing for what should be the wedding of the year, the long-awaited union of rock star Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair. Theirs is a romance decades in the making, a story of love found, lost, and finally rediscovered. But as any seasoned observer of this town knows, no walk down the aisle is ever simple. Lurking in the wings is a storm cloud in a signature red dress, Phyllis Summers. The tangled history between Phyllis, Danny, and Christine is the stuff of Genoa City legend. Phyllis's love for Danny has always been a volatile cocktail of genuine passion and dangerous possessiveness. While Danny was once captivated by her fire, he could never fully sever his connection to Christine, the woman who represented a more stable, idyllic future. Now, as Danny prepares to marry his first love, Phyllis is left to grapple with the past, and her simmering resentment threatens to boil over. Whispers around town suggest she is struggling to maintain her composure, with every mention of the wedding acting as a painful reminder of what she lost. Fans are speculating that Phyllis won't be able to resist making her presence known. Her entrance would be nothing short of theatrical, a show-stopping arrival designed to freeze the ceremony in its tracks. One can easily picture her raising a glass for a toast, her words dripping with mock sincerity, before twisting into a scathing confessional of love and betrayal. In Phyllis's world, Christine has always been the self-righteous victor, and she may see this wedding as her last chance to rewrite the narrative, even if it means burning everything to the ground. The potential for chaos is immense, promising a spectacle of drama that could rival the most infamous wedding meltdowns in Y&R history. Caught in the emotional crossfire is her son, Daniel Romalotti Jr. Having finally found a measure of peace and a budding, healthy relationship with the empathetic singer Tessa Porter, Daniel now faces the familiar dread of his mother's impending self-destruction. He is torn between his deep-seated love for her and his exhaustion with her endless cycle of chaos. The wedding was meant to be a happy occasion for his family, but it has instead become a source of anxiety, threatening to unravel the stability he has worked so hard to build. As the wedding day approaches, the question isn't just if Phyllis will crash, but what the fallout will be when she does. Her actions are fueled by more than simple jealousy. They stem from a profound grief for the life she believes was stolen from her, and a desperate fear of being forgotten. Whether she ultimately appears with a champagne flute and a vengeful smirk, or watches from the shadows, her presence looms large over the celebration. One thing is certain: When the music starts at Danny and Christine's wedding, it will be the prelude to either a beautiful new beginning or a spectacular, unforgettable disaster. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week look at Victor Newman's crazy plan, Jill Abbott's coming confrontation, and Tessa Porter's horrifying new discovery. We've got the latest Y&R spoilers for the week of October 6th. All right, let's start with Jill, who has just arrived in Genoa City because Sally Spectra and Jack Abbott both called Jill and said, "Please come ASAP. There's a crisis with Billy Abbott and Cain Ashby." So, as Jill Abbott arrives at the end of this week, her first stop is over at the Cain train. Not long after Jill rolls into the station, guess who else shows up? Billy Abbott arrives and is really irritated that his mom, Jill, went to see Cain before she came to see him. So, Billy starts ranting about Cain still being Jill's favorite, her number one son, even though, as we all know, Cain is a fraud and not her bio kid. Jill says she and Cain have a lot to discuss. Plus, Jill wasn't sure Billy would even let her in his door if she went over to see him. So then, Billy is playing tattletale like a child, and he wants to tell her what Cain has been up to, just like sibling rivalry all over again. Jill says she's already heard from Jack about what Cain has been up to, but Jill wants to hear it directly from Cain why he came back to Genoa City. So, he tells Jill that there are some people in town that he wants to win over, but Billy is like, nuh-uh. Also this week, Victor headed over to see Jack at the Abbott mansion to talk about their plan to take down Cain. At first, Victor said he wanted to wait until Jill showed up so he could talk to her and Jack Abbott together. But Jack Abbott is worried that Cain is ready to attack now. They need to firm up the plans. They can't wait. Also next week, Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti are back to Genoa City after their off-screen trip to investigate at the hotel where Mariah Copeland was staying when she told Tessa that she nearly killed a man. Sharon Newman is surprised to see Daniel and Tessa, and Sharon asks if they found out anything. Tessa looks really distraught and tells Sharon, yes, they did find out something. Whatever she and Daniel dug up, it must be really bad. Be sure to come back soon for our full daily Young and the Restless spoilers video that includes everything happening all week long from October 6th through the 10th. Young and the Restless early weekly spoilers for October 6th through the 10th. Look for Jill Abbott absolutely infuriating Billy Abbott. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week, and then we're going to dive into next week's spoilers. On Wednesday, October 1st, Kyle Abbott is talking to Claire Grace Newman, telling her Holden Novak is a playboy and she needs to stay away. Claire says she is going alone to LA, but is going to meet Holden there for some sightseeing. Kyle says this whole thing is a trap, and Claire says it's none of his business. She also thinks that Kyle is being egotistical, assuming that all her plans revolve around him. Claire reminds him she's had a very strange life, going from Jordan Howard being all-controlling to Newman privilege, and she needs to figure out what's her normal, how to live her life. Kyle asks, "Why not figure it out with me?" But Claire reminds him how terribly he betrayed her, and now she needs to figure things out on her own. Audra Charles is eavesdropping as Kyle is ranting about Holden and the split. Claire says that Kyle kissing Audra and then lying about it is what broke them. But Kyle reminds her that Holden also has a past with Audra, and Claire calls him jealous and says he's worried she'll sleep with Holden. Then Kyle calls Claire blind, and she tells him he did so much damage today with all the stuff he's saying to her, and she just takes off. Audra reveals herself and that she was listening, and Kyle is just disgusted and says, "Go away." But Audra taunts him about Psycho Claire dumping him, and Audra calls Kyle a brat, and he says that she's to blame, and she says, "Stop blaming me." Audra also says that Holden is very handsome and has cast a spell on Claire, and Kyle calls Audra poison. She tells Kyle all they had was hate sex, and he calls her disgusting again. He really hates Audra. And Kyle reminds her that Nate Hastings and Holden both walked away from her. Audra says she's still winning because Kyle and Claire split, and Kyle promises to get payback on her. Later, Claire is crying at the coffee shop over the nasty fight with Kyle. Michael Baldwin chats with Victor Newman when Jack Abbott shows up, and Michael grills them about their meeting. Jack says he and Victor are allies, but Victor's kind of like, not really. Michael begs for some information to take back to Cain Ashby, to get back in his good graces, to prove his loyalty on Young and the Restless. And Jack agrees that Michael needs to be their inside man. Jack says Cain is going to hurt Summer Newman and Nick Newman, Victor's grandson, if he targets Jabot and Marchetti is taken down as well. So, Michael's pressing Victor and Jack to work together, and Jack says Jill's on the way, and hopefully she can shut down Cain. Victor does agree that Jill being there will make Cain vulnerable, but Victor wants to wait and see what happens with Jill before he commits. Lauren Fenmore asks Nikki Newman if Victor is why Michael is working for Cain, and Nikki doesn't know anything about it. Lauren suspects that Michael is with Cain, acting on Victor's behalf. Nikki thinks it's plausible. Lauren says Victor treats Michael like garbage, and Nikki says that's how Victor treats his sons too. She is such an enabler. Nikki says she doesn't want to meddle or know about Victor's plans, but Lauren gets upset, and she does think Nikki is enabling Victor by ignoring the bad things he does, same way Michael did, and Lauren reminds her that Michael quit because Victor wanted to destroy Jack. Nikki says she can't change Victor's opinion on Jack, and she loves him no matter what. Lauren says she can't take it anymore. She's sick of Michael running around after Victor, and then Lauren asks Nikki to find out to confirm for her if Michael is back with Victor. Nikki doubts that Victor will tell her, and she and Lauren wonder if Cain's threats are real. Nikki thinks they are, and she hopes Victor can stop Cain, and she heads over to the office. Victor says Jill's on the way to town and that Jack just left. But Nikki said Michael is working with Cain, and Victor plays dumb. And then Nikki directly asks if Victor has been working with Michael, and he keeps sidestepping. Finally, Nikki calls Victor out for not answering her questions, and as usual, she doesn't press him. She just leaves. Jack calls, and Victor agrees that the plan is on track. Nikki calls Lauren and says she agrees that Victor and Michael are up to something, so Lauren confronts Michael and walks out. On Thursday, October 2nd, Amy Lewis and Lily Winters realize they share some things in common, and we know they both miss Damian Cain, and they both despise Cain. We'll see what else comes up. Audra tries to convince Nate to take her back. There is no way he is going to do it. He's absolutely done with her. Jill arrives back in Genoa City, ready to deal with Cain, and also with Billy. Plus, Jill plans a face-to-face meeting with Sally Spectra to discuss funding AbbotCom. And Jill and Sally may end up working together to help Billy. But the question is, will that upset him more? Friday, October 3rd, Billy has a reunion with Jill, but it's very upsetting, and he is being forced to deal with some painful truths and tear apart some scars. Billy feels like that Jill always excuses anything Cain does and thinks he can do no wrong, while she thinks Billy does everything wrong. I do wonder if Jill's going to tell him she chatted with Sally. Jack and Victor agree on their new plan of attack. And also this week, Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson Newman get a surprise visit from Nick. He drops by their offices at Newman Media and tells Adam that he and Sharon Newman are going to LA for a few weeks to help their son Noah Newman with a new club. Nick may fill Adam in on Victor's alliance with Jack. And of course, Adam is going to worry about this so-called truce. And don't forget, we have new Noah Newman about to start. It is Lucas Adams in the role. Next week, October 6th through the 10th, Jill may tell Damian that he needs to cut Phyllis Summers loose. If you remember, Jill insisted that Billy fire Phyllis from Chancellor, but I don't think Cain is going to get rid of her that easily. She won't go away, and she seems to have a crush on him. Audra and Kyle are going to beat each other's throats even more now that Nate has rejected Audra again. And Claire has taken off to LA with Holden. They're going to be lashing out and blaming each other for their breakups. Claire is heading to LA to meet Holden. She's very upset about the things that Kyle has been saying and the breakup, and that may make her more vulnerable to Holden. He does have a big crush on her, but still, he is a wild card according to Audra. Nick and Sharon head to LA to see Noah soon. We're going to have the recast actor, Lucas Adams. Jill wants to try and make things right. She's doing damage control with Billy while trying to stop Cain from targeting the whole town. Billy struggles to heal and move on, but Jill may wind up manipulated by Cain. Cain Ashby's return to Genoa City is no accident. It's destiny. twisting back on itself with calculated precision. Once a name whispered in equal parts admiration and suspicion, Cain was the man who charmed with a smile and deceived with ease. Years ago, he arrived in town as a mystery wrapped in an Australian accent and a tailored suit, posing as Jill Abbott's long-lost son. The lie was so deep it almost became truth. When the deception unraveled, Jill's heart shattered, but she never stopped caring for him. Now, years later, Cain is back. But this time, he isn't seeking redemption. He's seeking control. The man who once wanted forgiveness has evolved into someone far more dangerous, strategic, patient, and unburdened by sentiment. Genoa City's legendary families, the Newmans, the Abbotts, the Chancellors, are aging, their empires heavy with history. Cain sees an opening, and he intends to seize it, but he's no longer Cain Ashby. In Europe, he's known by another name, Aristotle Dumas. The name first surfaced among exclusive investors and luxury circles, attached to a man of mystery, wealth, and impossible poise. Few realized Aristotle was a mask Cain crafted after vanishing from Genoa City in 2019, following the collapse of his marriage to Lily Winters. The reinvention began in France, where Cain reunited with his father, Colin Atkinson, a con man who, in his final years, sought redemption through legacy. Before his death, Colin left behind Arabesque, a powerful multinational conglomerate. To the world, Arabesque was a symbol of refinement. In truth, it was Cain's inheritance and his weapon. As Aristotle Dumas, Cain re-emerged with influence that stretched across continents. His first move in reclaiming his past came disguised as progress, a silent investment in the revival of the Genoa City Jazz Club, a project led by Victor and Nicky Newman. The reopening was meant to honor the city's golden days, but beneath the soft piano chords and champagne toasts, a new empire was being built. Victor sensed something familiar in the new investor's confidence, but couldn't place it. Jack Abbott, meanwhile, remained distracted by his alliance with Victor, unaware that a far greater threat was already inside the room. Jill, ever perceptive, recognized the pattern too late. The subtle manipulations, the quiet acquisitions, the elegant chaos that once defined her son. As Arabesque begins to shadow Newman Enterprises and Jabot, Genoa City faces an invisible war. Cain's strategy is simple but lethal. Infiltrate, manipulate, dominate. Each leaked headline, each broken partnership, brings him closer to dismantling the power structures that once rejected him. At the jazz club's grand reopening, the city's elite gather, unaware that the man raising a glass beside them is the ghost of their own past sins. Cain watches from the shadows, his father's final words echoing in his mind. Redemption isn't given, it's taken. The young and the restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, October 6th to October 17th, reveal that Cain Ashby's reputation will be ruined before Victor Newman delivers a reward. Noah Newman's new storyline will also begin, so let's discuss what's ahead on the CBS soap. During the week of October 6-10, Kyle Abbott will deliver some sinister threats to Audra Charles before deciding to go win Claire Newman back in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman will get a shock when Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr. come back with unsettling updates on what happened at Mariah Copeland's hotel. Next, Nick Newman will interrogate Phyllis Summers about her Cain partnership, while Nicky Newman tries to call a truce with Jill Abbott. As for Jack Abbott, he'll do whatever it takes to protect Jabot and his family legacy. Y&R fans will see Jack make a pitch to Jill, but he'll also speak with Cain himself to make a heartfelt plea. Over with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson, they'll follow Victor's orders and show their loyalty. That should mean hitting publish on the story about Colin Atkinson's final con and how Cain built his empire on dirty money. Victor will be pleased with Chelsea and Adam's willingness to follow instructions, so a reward is headed their way. As for Nick, he'll make a rogue move while Jill and Lily Winters grill Cain about the scandalous article and his messy history. On another note, Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair will make a significant choice that'll affect their wedding day. Across town, someone will find Phyllis in a compromising situation, So could this involve committing a hacking crime for Cain, or perhaps steaming up his train with him instead? There are some hints and spoilers about Phyllis getting an unexpected love interest, so there's a chance Cain will have a passionate encounter with her soon. During the week of October 13th, 17, fans will finally see some long-awaited Los Angeles drama. Sharon will arrive ahead of Nick, but he won't be far behind. Both Nick and Sharon will try to figure out the real reason Noah is seeking their help. There's more going on than just a potential new club branch in Los Angeles. We know that danger is brewing for Noah, who'll be part of a new story with Nick, Sharon, Roger Howarth's mystery character, Detective Burrow, and a Hollywood club owner named Sienna Bacall. Plus, Kyle will make his way to Los Angeles in hopes of winning Claire back, but she may lash out over him following her there. It's even possible Kyle will catch Claire and Holden Novak in a moment of passion, so more drama's brewing. That's especially true if Claire gets caught up in the dangerous situation Noah's about to land in. Whatever the case, Victoria Newman will pop up in LA as well, and may have some growing concerns about Claire's well-being. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring some unsettling moments, so don't miss all the awful news and unraveling mysteries.